From ThousandIslandsDiscGolf.com, we bring you a FLYBOY Canada first-class full-flight conversation. You'll be listening in to Anastasios, Brian, and Greg as we explore the unique world of disc golf. We'll be talking about living the disc golf life in Brockville, from the joys of being on the courses in our backyard to digging deeper into the very community that surrounds them. Join us as we unbag all that's waiting for you to experience.
Disc golf, yeah. Disc golf, yeah.
So we're starting off episode 4, bewildered that you don't know about the Mac and Cheese Festival.
I don't. Lived in the area for how many years now, and no idea. Please enlighten me.
How did you miss it?
I don't know. Maybe I like a mac and cheese. I just don't know if I like it enough to attend a festival. But
Well, let me tell you what it is. In February, for the last couple of years, I don't know how long it's been, 10 or so establishments put out their best mac and cheese dish.
yeah,
That they can offer, and then people go in and eat it and vote on it.
right.
And I was out with Greg the other night down at the Thousand Islands Brewery, which happens to be the reigning champion.
Reigning champions.
Okay.
And he ordered up the mac and cheese, and he said, boy, it was good.
Right.
It was very good. I looked at the menu, and at that point I hadn't even thought about the Mac and Cheese Festival.
Right.
I was really looking at the menu, and I saw that, and I do like it. And I looked at it, I looked at the price, and I went, do I want to do that? But it came out in this cast iron pan,
Nice.
and it was delicious. It was, I think they brought 2 forks, didn't they, Brian?
They did. I tried it. It was all right. It's okay. It was all right. It was all right. Here's my thing, though. Here's my take on it, and I love it. Mac and cheese, great. Get people out. Go. Hit town. Fantastic. But there's 10 places in 4 weeks.
That's the duration of the festival.
The duration of the festival. Is that not a lot of
February.
mac and cheese?
That is.
That is a lot. Yeah, I could do it. And some of them are really original. I mean, you're looking at even the one place that does like a poutine mac and cheese.
Right.
I mean, there's lots of options out there. There's different stuff to try. And then you vote on it, and somebody's going to win.
Right.
What do you think? Think Thousand Islands going to take it again?
Well, I've only tried there so far this February, and I'm going to have to
You're
cram.
almost halfway through February, buddy. Like
There's only 9 more to try or 12 more to try. I mean, I can do that in 2 weeks.
I expect to see photographs of you eating mac and cheese in 9 different establishments on our Facebook page between now and the end of February.
You have a couple of weeks. Good luck.
Okay.
I'll let you share it
Wait,
if you
wait.
want to share it.
Challenge accepted.
All right, good. This is going to be hilarious.
The only thing that's going to be a challenge is your digestive system.
It'll be
Good
fine.
for you.
Love the initiative. But as far as food goes in this town, I've been around, and I know that there's a lot of great pizza cities and stuff like that. But I don't think that there's any more diverse. What's the word I'm looking for? Division over pizza.
Okay, like
yes.
allegiance to
Allegiance
your
to your favorite, yes. Then pizza in this town.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, what's our population? 23,000 people.
Right.
And the amount of pizza joints that are here, and people are diehard for their pizza.
Right.
I mean, you got what? You run through the franchises alone. Let's start with the franchise. We'll get to mom and pop second.
Sure. Yeah.
But you got like Gabriel's, Little Caesars, 2 for $1, Pizza, Domino's, Boston Pizza, Pizza Hut.
Right.
Then you got your restaurants themselves, like Les is on King, and then you get into the mom and pop stuff, which are the real crazy ones. You've got 1,000 Ounce Pizza, of course, Luna Pizza, Tata's Pizzas. There's this new pizza truck up Highway 29 called Dough Daddies, I think, or something like that, where they in the middle, he's still in the middle of winter, they're making it in the pizza truck.
Wow.
And then you've got this new place downtown, like Papa Pizza Land. And I know that that's a franchise, but just based on the amount of social interaction they have with the community and, awareness, they're really out there trying hard for that mom and pop spot.
You walk in and it feels that way.
Yeah. Al Peters, who was telling me that the Kinsman ran a pizza challenge for 10 years with all of these places where you'd go to St. Lawrence College up in the pub and you'd spend some money and people would vote on their favorite pizza. The pizza was donated, and I think over 10 years they raised like $80,000 for their
I'd
charities.
like to be a judge.
Exactly, right? But I mean, you'd go into this place and there would be, like silent auctions and stuff like that. But he told me that out of the 8 of the 10 years that they didn't do it last year or this year or something. He said they might return. It's not ruled out, but it's not happening this year for sure. But in the 8 out of 10 years, Thousand Islands Pizza won 8 times.
Wow.
And a place that used to be just around the corner from us, Bernie's Pizza Slice,
Oh, yes.
won twice. And he's no longer around. But I'm telling you, people, you were telling me about your experience.
I grew up eating pizza. My mom and I used to get a pizza almost every Friday from Luna Pizza. And I could call them, and when they'd answer, I'd said, I'd like to order a pizza, and they'd tell me exactly what I was ordering. They knew my voice, and they knew.
That's great.
And that was every week.
And Matt Williams, who did the first 4 on the floor, his vote was Tata's Pizza, and he dropped it like super fast. Like there was no doubt in his mind. And Peter and Perry last week they said Thousand Islands Pizza as well. So you're a Luna's guy. What have you tried?
I've tried, I think, most of them. You know what? To be honest, I can't comment on Tata's. I never had their pizza, so maybe we should order one tonight.
Let's do it.
Challenge
I think we should.
accepted.
I can jump on right now and do that.
Please do. I'm hungry. But my go-to is Thousand Islands. I think for crust, for sauce, for toppings. It's they get my vote.
Very good pizza.
Yeah,
there.
very good. Luna's right there though. That's a hard one, man.
Both family establishments too.
Yeah. Both Greeks. Am I right? Come on.
Oh no! Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we don't have to do it in the month of February.
Yeah, let's leave that for March and April.
In April, in May, and June, July. It's a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah,
but maybe we can get to the bottom of this because somehow we've got to be able to tell people when they come to visit Brockville to play disc golf, they've got to get pizza.
Right.
And they got to know where to get it from. So what are we looking at? Price? Ingredients? Style?
Oh, the way it's put together. In our house, the bacon has to be on top. The pepperoni has to be on top. If the pepperoni is under the cheese,
You throw the pizza out.
in my house they'll say, no thanks, I don't want pizza.
Right.
And I'm fine with it. I'll eat it any way it comes. But the way it's constructed can make a difference in our house.
The way it's constructed can make a difference in the pizza. I don't think that's. I think it's a valid argument. I think the meats should be on top. If you're messing with mushrooms, that's got to be underneath the cheese with the sauce.
What about the pineapple?
Well, you should never get pineapple on a pizza. Yeah, I'm not a fan, so that's ask someone else. I guess I don't know.
Our house, pineapple and bacon pizza is their favorite.
Yeah.
Take and bake pizza.
What about take and bake pizza?
They're available in town too. Luna does it.
Luna does
and Cowan's Dairy used to do it.
Oh, what's going on with Cowan's, man? Is it for sure done?
It's quite possibly, from what I've read, the dairy is closed and done and probably won't open again. So it's too bad. It's long history there.
This is your legacy.
My family started it. It was my grandfather and my great-grandmother were the ones that started it. And my father and my family were in it. And I think when I was a young kid, I figured I'd be in it. But didn't happen.
Wow. So when was it established?
I think it started back in the 1930s. I mean, they were originally in another location, and then they bought that location, and they built on
the location we're talking about
on Park Street.
On Park Street, yeah.
Yeah. So the part that was the dairy now used to be the factory, basically. I'm kind of too young to remember a lot of the factory. But they made their own milk and sour cream, and they made butter and everything in there. My brother and sister remember more of it, but my first memory of over at that location is I got my first stitches there. My brother told me about that. The loading dock. I fell off the loading dock and landed on some cut off tree saplings, and that was my first stitches in my head.
In your head.
In my head. All the stitches growing up were in my head. It's fine. It didn't affect me. It's fine.
Yeah.
Totally.
No. Totally. But yeah, that's. I don't actually remember it. My brother told me about that. So, but that location was. That's where my father grew up. It was as I knew, my grandmother's house, and it was right on the corner of Front and Park Street, which is a parking lot now. And it was a big 2-story house, and I have some memories of it. And I remember, I'm pretty sure it was out of the kitchen. My memory isn't great because I was pretty young. But there was a door out of the kitchen that went into this wooden hallway that you went down this hallway, and I think it was downhill if I remember right. And at the end, you opened this big heavy door, and it brought you into the cold room, which is where all the milk was kept. And at this point, they weren't making their own milk. They were buying seal test milk. So then you would go through the cold room, go through another heavy door, and you'd end up in the old factory. And then from there, you'd wander through the factory and end up at the store, which is the location of the butcher shop now. So when I was young, that's where the store was. It had moved around the building at different times, but... and then you'd come out into the store. So it was really cool to go from your grandmother's house and go through the cold room and through the factory and come out into the store. It was a neat thing.
Nice.
That's amazing. And Cowan's was quite the little empire for a while, right?
It was. There was a
You had
lot of locations. Yeah. And you're talking back in the 1970s, which maybe a lot of the listeners wouldn't remember. But we had 3 stores in Brockville at one time. There was 2 on King Street, one at the old Howisons at Perth Street. Then we had the Park Street one, and then there was one right near King's Restaurant, which isn't there anymore, which was down near Market Square. We had 2 stores in Smiths Falls that I remember. We had one in Cardinal. There was one in Prescott. There was one in, I think there was one in Perth for a while. They kind of came and went. My father and brother, or my uncle, were sort of running the business with their mother and their sister. And there was quite a few for a while. We had 2 in Smiths Falls. One of them ended up burning down. A little bit of a story on that. I think my brother was working that night, and he was serving ice cream. And somebody came in and ordered their ice cream and said to him, are you supposed to have fire running up the back of your building? And my brother's like, what? And he went to go and look, and they're like, whoa, can I have my ice cream first? Seriously, they wanted their ice cream before he went to look. And sure enough, in the end, the whole building burned down. It was gone. So then we were down to 1 store there. And,
wow.
So that was back in the 70s. It was interesting. Some good memories, some bad memories. My father died in a robbery in Smiths Falls back in 1976, and after that, the business kind of went downhill from there. I think the family kind of lost some of the drive after that, and but there's still good memories from that business. I don't remember the ice cream making and everything that was there, but I remember serving it and getting milkshakes. Good memories.
You made the ice cream at the...
They used to make it at the Park Street location.
It was a Cowan's product. It wasn't just like a scoop out like from Seal Test or somebody else. It was
in the mid 1970s. Actually, probably by the early 1970s, I think they'd sold out to Seal Test. Right. And there was a lot of pressure back then. Becker's and Max Milk were trying to take over the corner store business, which is more what it was like by this time, because we were just a retail store by then. My mother used to tell me I was the milkman's son, but I don't know, but my father was actually a milkman. So I'm thinking she was just being funny.
That's a good one, though.
Yeah, well, my mother had a sense of humor too, so it's...
Didn't you tell me you used to bag curds too?
Yeah, we used to buy these... They were like a quarter barrel of curd, and it would come in, and my brother and I would bag it, and we would put it in 1 pound bags, and I swear we ate a half a pound for every bag we did.
Sure.
We would eat so much curd.
Kid in the candy store.
Kid in the curd store.
The curd store, yeah.
And I mean, you know, you'd be doing 40 or 50 bags of this, and it was so fresh. Like, I used to go with my father to Hindman's out near Kempville, and there was a factory there, and I think my father used to get there early because they would still be mixing it and dumping the salt in it and chopping it up and everything, and we'd be eating it right out of the bin, which probably wouldn't be allowed these days, but you'd pull out these big chunks that were like 10 or 12 inches long, and you'd be munching on them, and they were so warm and fresh and squeaky. I love my curd.
You're grimacing. Do you not like curds?
No, I love curd. I'm just getting really hungry. We should order that pizza.
Yeah. Well, we probably sold the business off in about 1983, so the corner stores were gone then, and we weren't running them anymore. And just a couple years ago, I ordered a pizza from Cowan's for the take and bake. And it was kind of funny because she asked me my name, and I thought, Greg. I just said Greg. Mm-hmm. And she goes, and your last name? I said, Cowan. And she goes, could you spell that, please? And I went, Cowan. And she goes, yes, could you spell that, please? And I said, I'm not kidding. It's Cowan. And she goes, you mean from the original Cowans? And I went, yes. It was just funny that twice she asked me how to spell the name. So...
Wow.
But yeah,
thanks
good
for
memories.
sharing the history, man, of Cowan's. I'm sorry to hear it's closing down. But
yeah, it is a bit of a sad moment. It's a lot of people know of the business, and it was always famous in the last 25 years for the size of the ice cream cones and their ice cream cakes. So yeah, it is a sad moment to know that the building's probably going to be torn down and be gone.
Nice.
all right, let's take a break, and when we come back, thanks again, Greg. And when we come back, we're going to talk about just how many is too many disc golf discs.
Uh-oh.
Disc golf, yeah.
All right, Greg. So since episode 2 from the floor, Tassos and I have been joking back and forth about your whopping 40 discs that you own.
Yeah.
So that
No kidding.
that's brought up the question: how many discs are too many discs for a player to have?
Okay, so out of the 40, they're not all playable discs. Some are hanging on the wall, right?
Souvenirs, or
Yes.
something like that, right?
Special discs.
Right.
And I've got 3 bags, and I've probably got about 10 or 12 discs in one bag that is hanging on a hook that I haven't used in like a year.
Right.
Okay, well, let's backtrack this a little bit first. I think it was important. I mean, this question is not for a beginner.
Okay.
No, I'm talking about like if somebody's like just trying to get into
Yeah.
disc golf. This is not a conversation for them necessarily, because the truth is you only need 1 or 2 discs.
Sure.
Putter or mid-range to get you going, so to learn how to play and learn some control. Right. So that's all you really need. There's not that conversation. The conversation is about the insanity once you become obsessed with disc golf.
Is it, do I have a problem?
Do I have a problem? Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So what we're looking to do is figure out, all the reasons why people buy discs, why they continue to buy discs well beyond what they're using on a regular basis. What is the reason for that, and why it should or shouldn't matter to a certain degree.
Yeah.
I've been playing over 4 years, and I've got 40 discs. I mean, that's got to be a record.
Record low.
Yeah. What are you trying to say here?
Well, I think trying to justify the amount of discs that I've already purchased, in less than a year of discovering the sport. I'm up to, I think 65, another 3 that are hanging on my wall that I don't count. So I say 65, but yeah, it's, I like buying discs, man.
You like buying discs.
I do.
Now, do you think that there's any problem with that?
I don't think so till I look at my credit card receipt.
Right.
But no, it's like I'm in that discovery mode of the game, right? And I enjoy trying different plastics, trying different molds. Like, you just as you the more you get into it, the more discs I have, I guess. I'll always reference it with music too. I'm like, I'm looking for my sound. I'm trying different things. If I was at a drum shop, I'd be trying different snare drums, from Ludwig to Gretsch or whatever. But it's all about the feel and it's exciting to me.
Right. So you're looking at it more like music is very serious to you, but
yes.
but you're also talking about sort of like a hobby. It's
a passion.
It's a passion.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you buy a new disc,
Yes.
or in your case, discs, do you take anything out of your bag when you put those in?
I'll rotate. I'll have days where I'll just go out with prodigy discs and just throw those, or Innova. Like I'll just mix things up because I buy them to try them. The more I get into it, the more I realize there are more manufacturers. There's all the different molds and different plastics. I'm in big trouble.
Well, and you're looking for that disc that's just sweet coming out of your hand.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when you do find it, there's going to be another one that's even better.
Yeah. Well,
We'll see you at the store on Saturday.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, but you do find that one mold that you really, really enjoy, and then you want to try all the different plastics for that mold, right? And different weights, and you can really go down the wormhole.
Okay, well, let's talk about that first. Let's say because there's a lot to unpack here, but let's talk about your purchasing decisions so early on in your game.
Right.
Do you feel like, you're excited, you're going out there and you're buying discs, and that's great. But do you ever look at it and go, oh, wait a minute, I'm not really learning the discs I already have? Like, is it, are you chasing the dragon to the point where you haven't really figured out, that first set of discs? How do you balance that?
How do you balance it? I think you just you find one that you really like, and you learn how to throw that disc. And then, with some... I think the way I started was I looked online. I researched, like, most popular discs. They're popular for a reason, so you want to try them all. Yeah, I think finding the classics, if you will, and learning how to throw those and moving on to the next one. Throwing a few, offshoots there from a different, manufacturer or whatever. But it's a journey.
It's a journey. Look, when we opened the $1,000 Disc Golf, we've tried everything to help people not purchase discs. I mean, we want people to have the right tools. So we created the program, the First Class Full Flight program. You come in, you spend a nominal amount of money, you get a card. It's glorified library. You can borrow every single mold that Prodigy makes. You can now borrow as many innovative discs that we have. We're building that library up. And take them out for 2 weeks, try them out, see if you like them, see if you like the hand feel. Maybe the flights aren't, completely accurate because maybe a disc is broken in or too much or not enough. Right. But we're giving everybody a reason to keep their money in their wallet, so that they're not making bad decisions by going out and buying a disc that's called the Super Excalibur Enforcer because it's got a cool graphic, but it's a 14-speed, and
is
kids.
Is there a disc like that?
So that aside, we do our best to help people get the experience without purchasing, but still people are buying. So for me personally,
can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Before, I have 65. Greg's got 40. How many do you own, man?
Well,
oh boy,
I really want to hear this answer.
Pretty much everything in the loaner program is my throwaways, right? It's not even the good stuff. My history has gone getting into disc golf is like finding a mold I really like, and then I'd turn around and I'd buy 4 or 5 of them in one specific plastic that I liked, that I was doing. So I had field work, and I could go out in the field, and I could just throw the same disc over and over and over and over again without having to go pick it up. And you know, it's not just molds; it's the quantity of each. You know, that really adds up. You know, over time. But again, understand what I just said. I was willing to purchase these discs for that convenience. You know, I didn't look at it like I'm buying 5 of the H1 V2. I need these discs. It was a matter of convenience. So the amount that I was spending was worth that experience. No different than you go into a golf club and buying a bucket of balls to a driving range.
Exactly.
You don't get to take those balls home with you, but I get to keep these. And then, as Greg said, I can let people borrow them, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as a downside. Add on top of that, the fact that 95% of all the disc golf courses we play are free to play. So there's that other side of it where it's not that you're spending $20 to play around a disc golf, and then you're also spending all this money on a whole bunch of discs.
Golf balls.
Right. Yeah. So one evens out the other, and then if you kind of like mentally process that, you're like, oh, okay, well, every disc only cost me $10. You know, like I'm amortizing the cost versus play.
Right.
That's where I come from, and that's not normal. But where I can see people
Yeah, sorry. I wanted to say that.
Where I can see the real thing is especially in putters.
Yes.
Putting is such a, it's so
personal.
It's insane. It's like finding the disc that feels right in your hand, that has the right spin, that's like the right plastic, everything else. I can see why people have like one of every putter. Like I can see this drive to find that perfect putter.
Yeah, that's the bulk of the ones that I have. It's like I was in search of that putter. You know, maybe I still am, but yeah, it's now that I found, like, I love my. Sorry if I cut you off. I found my PA for the Fractal. You know, and I bought a few of those off of you because you want to have those so you can.
Well, also, you can't get them anywhere else in the world.
Exactly.
They're literally only in Brockville. The PA4 Fractal.
So I own a few of those because it's nice to go out there and you throw one after the other. Yeah. You know, you have to have those. Yeah.
But I remember when I started, I had every single putter from Discraft. I had every single putter from Innova. I had every single putter from the Trilogy brands like Dynamic Discs. You know, I had Pures. I had like one of everything. And
so you have more than 40?
Just maybe 41, 42. Okay, so there's that, and I don't know if, but I mean, would you think that's reasonable to say that there is that difference in a collector's mentality that because they aren't paying to play disc golf?
Oh yeah, I think I have some hidden gems in my 40 discs that I haven't given a good shot. I've thrown them 2 or 3 times, probably not in the right spot or the right condition. I put it back in the left side of the bag. Eventually I took it out of the bag and put it in the other bag that I don't use. But I'll bet you if I could get back and start throwing all those discs, I'd find some hidden gems.
I agree with you. And I think that's a lot to do with what happens when a person buys a new disc. I think that they purchase a disc and they go out to throw it, and they really focus on their form because the disc is an unknown to them. So then they focus on how they're throwing the disc, and then they have these great results. You know, so they're in the zone, they're totally focused on their actual throw. They throw this disc, and then they go, "Wow, that was amazing." That's going to replace my other for a while, until the point where they get to just not focusing anymore.
They fall back into their bad habits.
Exactly. And then they turn around and like 6 months later go back to the original disc and throw that again, focusing again. And they're like, oh, why did I ever get rid of this one? Right?
I think I get a new disc and I throw it just like the disc I had, and that's probably not what I should be doing. So it doesn't do what I want to do. Right. And then I think, oh, it's not a very good disc. But really, I need to focus on the disc and throw it for the purpose that it was made for.
Agreed 100%.
Yeah.
There's one thing that blows my mind is how somebody will purchase a new disc and they will take it out and they will try to make it fly
like every other disc
every other disc they have. So they focus all this attention on trying to make an super overstable disc fly straight. as opposed to understand what that disc is supposed to do,
Right.
and throw it
Like
with
the
that
good Lord
mind.
intended.
Good Lord intended.
But it takes time and it takes patience. You got to keep trying
Yeah.
until you understand the disc.
Right. Like anything else, you've talked about, like, the time you put into it is, what you're going to get out of it. So you have to put in that field work. I think that's key. It makes me, what we're just talking about right now, makes me think of the A3, the Project A3. Like when I first, it's overstable, right? Mm-hmm. And like I threw it and like this thing I'm left-handed. It just peeled hard right? Until you figure out like you gotta Anheuser that stuff and like make it do that. Once you figure out like, oh, this is how it's supposed to fly. And
you also got to break the disc in.
You got to break it in. You got to hit some stuff.
You gotta hit
without losing it.
Exactly. You got to hit a few trees.
That's what I always say too.
New discs, very quick to lose.
Yeah.
Because you don't throw them right the first few times and they're gone into the trees.
Yeah.
Right. Then the next question is our seasons. Our winter season, we don't have run-ups. We have multiple layers. It's cold. It's shorter. You're playing shorter. I personally have a completely different set of disc golf discs for winter play that are lighter weight and different plastics. Same molds, but does that play into?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's like the feel in the winter. Everything's a little bit lighter and everything's a little bit more softer or gummier. I love my PA5. I have a 400 that's hit a lot of trees. It's broken in beautifully, but it's not seen too much time this winter because I've opted for the ultra soft version of it. It feels good, dries nicely, and yeah, everything's lighter and a little bit. It has to be a little bit softer, I think.
Right. Do you have different discs for different temperatures?
I don't know, Brian.
You
I
just throw. What a jerk.
Make that into a T-shirt. Would you?
Exactly. Too much.
Actually, I don't right now because I haven't done enough winter golf.
But your most recent purchase that you were excited about is glow discs.
Glow discs. It opens up a whole bigger season because you can play late at night.
Yeah.
I can do some practicing in the backyard. I think it'll be a little bit fun.
There you go. What about the idea that purchasing a new disc is a motivator to play? Where somebody feels like part of the whole disc golf experience is going to a store, grabbing a new disc, getting excited they have a new disc, and that's what motivates them to actually go out and play around or do some field work.
Play around. I want to throw it as soon as I step out the door.
Well, exactly. But
I did that with those glow discs, and you told me I was crazy. I was going to lose them in the snow, and I'm like, but I want to throw them.
Yeah, well, the store was right there, so you could just come back in and get another one. But you get what I'm saying. Like I think that there is a certain
Gives you some hype.
Give you some hype, right? Yes. I mean, it's like you could be sitting at home, whatever, and it's like, I don't feel like going. But if I go to the store first and grab a new disc, maybe I will go through it.
It's like a new piece of music gear, like new set of hi-hats or a new snare drum. Yeah, you forked over some cash for this thing and you want to see how it sounds. Yeah,
you want to use it.
You want to use it. Yeah. It might motivate you to play a different groove or try a different shot. Yeah, absolutely. Getting new discs has motivated me to play a lot of rounds this year.
Yeah, that's right. Now let's talk about Jake Timon's die discs.
Right.
There's a whole other world. You walk in and you see, or he's chucking one of his beautiful die discs, and you're just like, I got to have one of those.
I got a couple, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Good. They look cool when they fly in the air.
Exactly, right.
They look so good.
They look so good.
And so unique.
That's it.
But you've got you've got another one in your bag, but you're just driven to get it. I think that stamps, unique stamps, different new plastics come out in the same mold that you have. Right. Something's always vying for a spot that you think might feel better. I mean, we talked about in the last episode our favorite disc of the year. Well, my favorite disc, yours was also the same disc, but it was the M2 Reblend. You pull out a disc like that I'd never throw because it's in a new plastic and I fall in love with it. I mean, that just freaks me out on every single disc on every time a new plastic comes out. Right?
Yeah.
Just what is it going to do? Hey, look, I mean, we're asking the question, how many discs are too many?
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's an answer.
There's no.
No.
It's just different for everybody. Could be as low as 40.
Stop.
40.
But that's a massive amount.
Now, other than a souvenir, do either of you two just buy discs for investment purposes, like a limited run? Would you? Is that in your wheelhouse? I mean, I personally am not necessarily interested in that, but
I don't think I am at this point yet. I used to buy a few comic books back in the day for that reason, like the collectible. But yeah, no, it's I'm more interested in I think throwing the thing than hanging it on the wall. There might be I do like the hip stuff's pretty cool, and there's some other designs that I've seen that I like, but I think my primary motivation is I don't want it on the wall. I want to throw it.
right.
Yeah.
You want to see it fly.
I want to see it fly.
Absolutely.
I think I need to buy another hip disc because mine's hanging on the wall. I can't throw it. I don't want to get it dirty. I got another one. I've got an original FLYBOY. I got two of them. I throw one. The other one hangs on the wall. And then, of course, my Brockville original disc. The first one I think I ever bought.
Yeah. And you didn't mention it in the last episode about your favorite disc, but didn't Kelly give you a disc that you were a real big fan of?
Oh, the Wave.
The Wave.
You know what was amazing about that is I forget what I was throwing down there. We were down in Georgia, and Kelly, I don't know, he watched the way I throw it. He goes, I think I've got a disc you'll like. And of course, we go back into the hangar, and he goes into some closet, and he rifles through a bunch of discs, and he pulls out this yellow Wave disc, and he hands it to me.
Is the Wave the MVP?
It's yeah, that's right.
Is
You
it
got
MVP?
it, yep.
Sorry, I just want to make sure I know what we're talking about.
So anyway, I went and tried it, and I didn't use it that much on the trip, but when I got home, it became my favorite disc for like 6 months.
Right.
Just the perfect throw.
Okay, so at the end of the day, is there a magic number? I don't think there is. I think as long as you're having fun.
Right.
With everything else that you could be purchasing out there in the world today for $25 at a time, I mean, buying a disc a week, it's just like your receipt of enjoying your life.
Sure.
A weekly receipt. So
sometimes I want 5 receipts.
It's free to play. So really, you're just buying the discs.
Yeah.
all right, I don't think we got anywhere with this conversation at all. Other than,
40.
Other than buying disc is awesome.
65.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have an episode of From the Floor.
Disc golf, yeah.
We go now to the floor of the Thousand Islands Disc Golf Store, where visitors from both local and from afar are quizzed on the spot with random questions.
All right, this is From the Floor of 1,000 Islands Disc Golf. Today we're talking to...
Marc Stratton,
How many discs are currently in your bag?
25,
How many discs would you say you have total?
around 100,
How long have you been playing disc golf?
3.5 years approximately.
What course do you find yourself playing the most in Brockville?
FLYBOY Canada 1.
What is your go-to putter?
Probably a woodchuck or a PA3.
What is your go-to throwing putter?
I like my Rico for that.
What is your go-to approach disc?
I like a pig for an approach.
What is your biggest pet peeve regarding other players when playing a round?
Slowness.
Aces aside, what brings you the most joy during a round?
Playing in a good group.
What does CTP mean?
Closest to the pin.
What does stable mean?
Stable disc will usually stay straight for longer with a very subtle finish at the end.
What does beefy mean?
Beefy usually means an overstable disc.
Who makes your favorite pizza in Brockville?
Thousand Islands.
How much do you pay to play a round of disc golf?
There's no charge. That's the best part of disc golf, and that it's free.
What is the best disc to hyzer flip?
PA5.
What brings you into the store today?
Looking for an air disc, something like an F3.
What is your favorite FLYBOY Canada hole in Brockville?
The hill course, hole number 5, which is the long downhill throw that's quite dangerous to get close to the basket without going out of bounds.
That was Marc Stratton. Thanks, man. Hope you have a great day.
Disc golf, yeah.
Marc Stratton, what a guy. He works with me at Henderson, and he's been super helpful in everything. I mean, he from when we even did the Plowman's match in Kentville, we had a booth for 5 days. He came up for a day and he worked at the booth to promote disc golf and stuff like that.
I've never met him.
Oh, he's a fantastic guy.
I like him. He's nice to me.
He's nice to you.
Yeah.
But the poor guy has to, like, every time I come up with an idea or something like that, he has to help me out. And when I came up with the idea from the floor, I was like, okay, come do this in this room. Right. Now we have to record it in this room. And we have to do it in this room. And he's just like, what the hell? "Oh, buddy!" super supportive.
Yes.
He's awesome. 100 discs in less than 3.5 years.
Yeah, I know. There's something wrong there.
If he's saying probably 100, he's probably got 150. So in 3.5 years, yeah. That's,
Okay, that answers the question. That's too many. If he's got 250 discs, that's too many.
He doesn't have 250 discs. What are you talking about?
He's probably got 300.
No. I think the standout for me on that one was what brought him the most joy in playing disc golf, and that's playing with a good group. And it's a really good comment. So, what dictates a good group for you?
I think. I have my regular group, so it's it runs from. To be honest, a good group is. I like when there's 7 of us that kind of get together all the time, to be honest, but I like when it's 4 or 5 because things keep moving well. But a good group is things are moving nicely. There's the right amount of competition. It's not too serious, but everyone's still having a really, really good time. A lot of laughs, and there's still always something to be learned about watching other people throw. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, so there's a little bit of a rotation in our group, and I feel like every time that I go out, like, watching how someone's doing something and learning every time. Might be the same group, but if things are moving nicely, right amount of competition, laughing a lot, and at the end of the day, we're having a few beers, that's a good group for me.
You?
I like the laughing a lot. I really do. In my group, I want to have fun, but I like a group that is similar. We're all kind of throwing. It's a little bit of competition. I like the fact that we're moving quickly and at the same pace. The same pace is good. If we're all throwing the same, well, I want to throw a little bit better. Because it is a competition.
Because it is a competition.
Yeah. I mean, it's a social
Right.
event that's competitive.
So basically, as long as you're winning, that's a good group.
Yes.
Just slightly better than the other guys. Yeah, good for you, man.
My absolute truth is, I love being with beginners.
Nice.
It's my joy. There's nothing better than going out with 2 or 3 new players, or 2 and another somewhat seasoned player. I love watching and helping to a certain degree, not imposing, but just allowing them to learn to love the sport and just to encourage. That's what gets me off. Yeah. Beyond that, into a real round where I'm like somewhat being competitive, I'm looking for people who treat each other's play with respect. We talked about this already before.
Yeah.
And this is
the etiquette thing?
The etiquette, and it's a very big deal to me. I like to know that I practice what I'm preaching. I want to feel like I'm the only person at that moment making that shot. There's nobody else around. That's a lot to ask, but that is. Sometimes when I'm playing a somewhat casual round with some people would say, "Do you mind if I play music or whatever else?" And again, if it's somewhat casual, no problem. Go nuts. As long as the rest of everything else flows fine. I mean, Greg, you and I played with a gentleman in New York State who wanted to listen to Grateful Dead. And he was wonderful. Like, he showed us the course. We played, and it was fantastic. But it wasn't obnoxious. The music was down a decent level. It wasn't affect anybody else's play, and that was a good round. That was a good fun round.
That was fun.
Yeah. So yeah, to me that's it. New players, bingo. That's money. Like that, I take that home. No, especially if they have a great shot. Their great shot. When I tell people, when you play your first round of disc golf and you make that one shot, and you go home and you think about it before you go to sleep, if that happens, then you're a disc golfer. Like, you'll be back out again. Yeah. And when I see somebody do that, I'm thinking to myself, oh, they're going to be thinking about that. So I like it. I really like it when, huge fan when somebody makes a really great shot on their first round. That they didn't see happening, right? So that they didn't know they had in them. And that gives me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
Team Woodchuck.
Oh,
yes.
yeah. I like to hear that.
That's
I I believe in the team.
We're out there.
We are out there.
Right on, guys. I think that was another great session. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Thanks for spending time with me
Always.
today.
Thanks, man.
I think it's time to zip up the bag on this conversation until we get together for our next round.
Let's have some pizza.